Good evening, and welcome to the den of the orator. As you can see, most sensible people are asleep. So I think it's time for you to pull up your chair and settle in, because tonight, I have another tale to tell. But before we begin, if you found yourself enjoying this kind of content, first-hand true accounts of the supernatural, paranormal, things that go bump in the night, then allow the spirits to guide your planchette to both the like and subscribe button, as well as the notification bell. That way you get notified every time I upload new content, which right now is every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Second, as I mentioned, all of my stories are true first-hand accounts of the supernatural and paranormal. Today's story comes from Redditor Trail of Hope, and I will make sure to post their original story below. But if you're anybody you know has a story and you think that it would fit well on my channel, just reach out to me on any of my social media, and we'll find a time to get together, collect your story, and potentially one day feature it here on The Orator. And lastly, if you'd like to support the channel, please check out my merch. I got some really cool shirts and other designs designed by Jack's Attic, a few different designs there that are really, really cool. You can also check out my Patreon page where there's just a $5 a month contribution for some extra stuff that helps contribute to the channel as I continue to put out new episodes. And now, with all of that out of the way, let's get on to today's tale. It is a story that I call Bingo. The year is 2020. Emily is 35 years old. She lives in Nova Scotia. She's married and she has 2 kids. A few years ago, she lost her grandfather, and it was a pretty difficult time for her. They were pretty close. But over the last couple of years, she's gotten over it. Things have gotten better. One day, though, Emily decides she wants to visit a psychic. This is a medium who claims to be able to communicate with the other side, contact your loved ones, and allow you to maybe either have a conversation with them or pass on a message from the other side. And Emily, she's a little bit skeptical. She kind of believes in this stuff, but she really wants to go and visit this psychic. And so she sits down, and it's this, very ethereal sort of session where they talk about several people who have passed over. And at some point, the psychic focuses specifically on her grandfather. And in fact, he even says her grandfather's name, calls him by name, talks a little bit about him. And he says, hey, I'm getting that your grandfather used to be a big bingo player. And Emily's like, yeah, that's right. He really did play a lot of bingo. And he says, the psychic, he says, your grandfather wants you to go play bingo. He's going to reach out to you somehow and let you know when it's time to go play. And if you go and play bingo, he's going to show up for you in a big way and kind of show you that he's communicating with you. And so Emily, she says, all right, cool. And they kind of finish up the session, and she goes home and she tells a couple of people about it. And then over time, it's sort of forgotten over the next couple of weeks. Until one night, Emily and her husband, they're just sitting down late at night. Their kids are already at bed. They're sitting there and watching some TV. And suddenly a local commercial comes on for a big bingo night. It's about an hour away, but it's going to be this big gathering of people to play the game bingo, and they're all going to come. And so she sees this commercial. Emily sees this commercial, and she's like, this is it. This is the sign. And so she tells her husband, we need to go to that. And so a few nights later, on the night of the bingo, they all get together, Emily, her husband, and their 2 kids. They go to Emily's parents' house, and Emily's parents are there, and they're relaxing. And so the whole family's there, and they're all going to stay there and hang out while she, Emily, goes and plays bingo. And so her husband stays with her parents. He's watching the kids. They're all kind of relaxing. And Emily goes. She drives the hour to this bingo hall. And she gets there and she plays. And lo and behold, she wins. She ends up winning $200 as kind of like one of their big prizes. And so she's really excited about it. And she's kind of feeling like, wow, I went and showed up. And just like my grandpa said, he came through for me and we won some money. So she drives all the way home. And she comes in the front door and she's really excited to kind of tell everybody. She'd explained to her husband and her parents sort of the message that the psychic gave. So she's going to come home and say, hey, look, I don't know if this was the message or not, but won some money and the whole thing kind of worked out. So she's pretty excited about this. So she comes in and everybody's talking. She's really excited. She starts discussing the winnings and everybody's really excited about it. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of this conversation, this like gust of freezing cold wind comes in and blows Emily, and she like has to kind of cover up. It's so cold, and she's looking around and nobody else is reacting to this, and it's like the temperature dropped massively. And so Emily, she's just like, hey, did anybody else feel that? And everybody in her family, her kids, her husband, her parents, they just ignore her like she didn't just speak. And so she's a little more frantic. She's like, hey, did everybody feel that cold? And again, they just ignore her. It's like she's not speaking, like she's not even there. She's like, hey, hello, everybody, did you feel that? And once again, it's like they're not even there. And then just as soon as the temperature dropped, it lifts back up, everything goes to normal, and Emily looks around and everybody's staring at her. But they're not staring at her in a way like, what are you doing? They're just staring in anticipation as though they want her to continue with the conversation. And so she kind of looks around all confused, and she's like, didn't any of you just hear me? And they're like, what are you talking about? She's like, I just now said it was really freezing cold. I said it 3 times really loud. None of you heard that? And then they're all confused. They're like, no, you did not just speak. And so she's just really weirded out, thinking for a second, was that maybe the sign? Did he somehow communicate to me just now? I mean, that was really bizarre. And so she kind of is weirded out by it, but she sort of decides to move on. And so she pulls out this money, this $200 winnings, and she starts unfolding the money. And as she's unfolding the money, she notices there's something in it. And so she flips open the rest of this wad of cash, and in the center of it, tucked between 2 bills, is this tiny little wooden bridge from a fiddle. It helps keeps the strings up on a fiddle so that they don't bow. It keeps them taut. And it's this little tiny piece of wood. And this is super bizarre because when she was at the bingo hall, it's not like they just handed her a wad of cash. They counted it out in 20s. They had 10 sets of 20s. They counted it out. And then Emily took it and she recounted it before putting it in her empty pocket. And so there's just no way that there's a fiddle bridge in here. It's such an obscure thing. The problem is, or what's very strange about this, particularly strange about this item being the thing that she found, was that her grandfather was sort of a local legend as a fiddle player. He was quite good. He played at a lot of events in the local town. He was well known in the area for being a good fiddle player. And so to find this weird fiddle bridge in amongst the money is just really strange. And so then she shows everybody this, like, look at this. Isn't this weird? I mean, Grandpa said he was going to communicate with me. Maybe this is what he meant. And her father takes one look at this bridge and he goes pale as a ghost. And without saying anything, he retreats to the back of the house down the hallway. And about 2 minutes later, he comes back down the hall holding one of 2 of his father's prized possessions, 2 fiddles. And this is one of them. And he brings it out and he presents it to everybody. And somehow, even though this thing has been tucked away since his passing, nobody's touched it, nobody's had access to it. It's literally locked away as one of his prized possessions that they're keeping. Somehow, this fiddle is missing the bridge, and it is the exact bridge that Emily is holding. And so Emily, her husband, the kids, her mom and dad, they're all left to just sit around and discuss the fact that Emily's grandfather, through a psychic, told her to go play bingo and that he would show up for her in a big way. And then he did by giving her the bridge to his favorite fiddle. And so that's going to do it for today's story. If you found yourself enjoying this or any of the stories on my channel, first-hand, true accounts of the supernatural, paranormal, things that go bump in the night, Then allow the spirits to guide your planchette to both the like and subscribe button as well as the notification bell. That way you get notified every time I upload new content, which right now is every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Second, as I mentioned, all of my stories are both true and first-hand accounts of the supernatural and paranormal. So if you're anybody you know has a story that you think would fit well on my channel, just reach out to me on any of my social media, and we'll find a time to get together, collect your story, and potentially one day feature it here on The Orator. And lastly, if you do like the channel and you'd like to support it, please check out my Patreon. Consider checking out some merch just to help support the channel as I continue to put out new videos. And so until next time, where most sensible people will be abed, you may pull up your chair and settle in, and I will have another tale to tell.